Do you know what's crazy? Is how much we don't talk about grass court shoes. At one point in time, 3 out of the 4 Grand Slams were played on grass. And yet now, only Wimbledon is the only grass court major. And grass seems to be one of those seasons that lasts very long, but if you look at the calendar, only spans about 2 months. Not even. We've actually played on grass. If you've been on the channel before, you've seen us play at the Hall of Fame. The Tennis Hall of Fame in Rhode Island. We've played there. It's a fun experience. It's fun playing on grass. It's very different, but we were using clay court shoes, which have treads that basically make you move smoother if you slide, which ideally is not going to be the best ones to use for the grass court surface. Everyone's played on hard court, definitely a different sole than clay court. But what about grass court shoes? Let's take a look. Grass court shoes have outsoles which feature nubs or pimples that are reminiscent of cleat-like shoes. Outsoles with nubs provide great grip for players on what you can often be used on slippery grass. Despite the aggressive tread, the outsole shouldn't do any damage to the court, will help players feel comfortable moving quickly on a fast surface. Unlike hard court shoes, these cannot be used on any other surfaces. If you do, the nubs and pimples would wear away, and it would be such a slippery sole that you won't be able to use it for any other time. One of the most famous pieces in the International Tennis Hall of Fame is Rod Laver's grass court specific shoes, which featured metal spikes on the bottom. Now, the resemblance to these and golf shoes are very similar. During training sessions in Australia, rain would make the courts not playable, but with the help of these golf type shoes, players like Rod Laver would be able to play on the surface without slipping and hurting himself every other point. We wanted to take a look for ourselves and actually own a pair of grass court shoes. To be honest, we wanted to try what these grass court shoes would feel like and what it would be like to run on grass. So we actually decided to get a pair for ourselves. And for the first time in our tennis quote-unquote career, we actually got a hold of a pair of grass court shoes, a K-Swiss Ultrashot 3 with the nubs or quote-unquote pimples on the bottom. Now, this is the first time we've ever seen these up close and first time we've ever tried on a pair of grass court shoes, let alone K-Swiss. So we wanted to test them out for you guys to see what all the fuss is about and what it's like to actually run on grass with these shoes. Now, granted, we don't have access to a grass court, but these are the tests that we ran through. We did sprints, we did suicides, we did our own 40-yard dash, and just overall movement just to see what these shoes actually provide compared to an Adidas Barricade pair that we've had from before. Now, let's go over to the testing area. You guys are probably wondering, Philip, but where's the grass court? Where is the court that you're going to test these shoes on? Well, to that response, I say, 1, we had a connection at the Tennis Hall of Fame last time we shot a grass court specific video. And unfortunately, I did not have those shoes at that time, nor is my friend Josh. Those that do not know who Josh is, he does Tennis IQ podcast. He was coaching there at the time, so thankfully he was willing to You! Please subscribe. Thanks. Help us play a little on those courts. And two, where do you think in the middle of Connecticut you're gonna find a grass court? I'll let you guys leave a comment if you know a place where I could play grass court tennis for fun without knowing anyone that has millions of dollars just to build one in their backyard. But today, we're gonna be testing it out in terms of agility, speed, grip, and overall comfort. Because I will say this is the first time we have worn grass shoes. This is the first time, maybe this is the first time we've worn K-Swiss shoes. And I have my Wimbledon 2019 collection sweater shirt, or as some people like to call it, for those that I teach, a swort. So, what we're gonna do today is we are gonna compare our K-Swiss Ultra Shot 3 grass court specific shoes with our Babolat SFX3 shoes. We've been using these to teach in completely for clay court, as you can tell from the grooves on the bottom of this shoe. And we have to establish a point of reference. Well, we gotta establish that point of reference with our shoes in order to understand, just like any experiment, a baseline, all right? And that was no pun intended, I promise. And if I will get these untied, I will be right back. Did the agility. Now we're gonna move on to the 40-yard dash. This is where you can't see to all the way over there where my flip-flop is. That's essentially 40 yards. How is that measured? With pure, accurate science with footsteps. Actually, I'm pretty dumb. I can just use my phone. So I was about 20 feet longer than actually 40 yards. So that's what you just witnessed there of calculations and math and bullshit. As a side note, I actually was impressed with the K-Swiss Ultra Shot 3s. Would recommend you guys getting them if you were playing on a hard court or clay court, not just with the grass nubs, because obviously you can't use those for any other surface, but it's actually a good pair of shoes. With the grass nubs, I actually did enjoy using them. You can definitely tell the difference when you use a grass court specific shoe and a regular tennis shoe fitted to a hard court or to a clay court. I like the shoes. You can definitely tell when you're gripping onto the ground a lot more. And while the sensation is very small and minimum, it is still very noticeable for when you have to have quick start and stop motions. This video was a lot of fun to make, especially when we're coming back from an ankle injury and seeing our ability to move, as well as seeing what grass court shoes are like, because it is a piece of technology and a piece of tennis history when we look back at it to see the evolution of these types of shoes. Now, let us know what you think. If we get this video to, let's say, I'll make it challenging. Let's go 15 likes and I'll play tennis on a hard court or clay court with these shoes. I'll actually try to play properly with those types of shoes on. So what are you guys waiting for? Make sure to hit that like button so you can see part 2 of this video. If we get to 15 likes, make sure we get to 15 likes. And make sure to subscribe. We're trying to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and we'd love to have you guys join us on this journey for tweener head tennis. And as always, hope you guys are well. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks, guys.